Okay, so right, I've been playing DBD for about 2 weeks again, right? Getting that DBD mood, but I previously played for about 2 years ago or 1 year ago, somewhere in there, right after or right before Sadako released. I left the game, haven't really been back since, and now I'm back playing it. And there's a few things I'm curious about, but right now I want to talk about why is there not a rank system, in the game, or some kind of rank and unranked system to split up players that obviously want to play with different play styles in mind, right? One wants to play sweaty, one wants to play literally casual, like DBD is a party game, which I think it can be a party game. I don't feel like why it strictly has to be a competitive game. I know some people think of DBD as only a competitive game just because you're going against other people, but I don't know. There's lots of party aspects of it, like chest are a party aspect of it. Like just how you can play it can be a party aspect to it. But a lot of people who either there's no real in between of like either you're literally just playing for fun or you're literally playing to sweat your balls off and win as many times as you can. There's hardly ever a balance between that, if you will, like somewhere in the middle, which I feel like a lot more games have. And I think that how we can solve this is just strictly put in a rank mode and unranked mode. And some people will argue that the player base is too small, but DBD has like one of the largest player bases out of any game. It has 60,000 people playing it at any given, or not 60,000, 50,000 people playing it at any time. And peak is around 60, at least for Steam charts, right? Which we know that DBD is on many more things, like Epic Games might have probably has a smaller play count, but it was released for free. So, a lot of people will have it on Steam or Epic. And also the console community is a big portion of pretty much any game. A lot of games main player base is on console in general. So if we're looking at that for a fact, we can easily estimate that DBD at any given moment has around 70,000 to 80,000 players at any given time, right? If we're totaling console, PC, Epic Games, everything, right? So I'm confused that it's too small of a player base, and also that you couldn't find people for each, level of skill. So I feel like that should just be an easy change to make. And also you have to rework the MMR system, obviously, because MMR right now just goes based off kills, and that can be heavily exploited by just tunneling someone out, and that doesn't incentivize good gameplay, right? Obviously you'd rather people go for separate people, and because no one wants to do a gen the whole entire game, and I guess some people do want to be chased the whole entire game, but a lot of the community doesn't want to just get chased off of the hook, chased as soon as they see them. I would say that's probably at least 70% of the community, because most people who play DBD are just casual people that play. Even though, even I don't even agree. I don't even agree with that, because there's no way you have 60,000 people playing and 90% of them are casuals. That's just false. It's just false. They might not be sweating, but I would say to be casual, you have to not really play DBD that much, less than 3 hours a day, I would say, is casual. But anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there. Why does it not have a rank mode? Just no real point to not have a rank mode, right? Also just help with just how players feel going into matches where they get face camped, because they would expect that more in rank, which you could argue it would make rank more of a cesspool of just unfun strategies, but it's rank, like that's what it is going to be. And they would just balance for that, right? Because obviously people don't find it fun, balance around not having that. And then MMR, you probably just rework it to include one. I think survivors should be grouped as a whole for the MMR and how much they lose and gain. Maybe a slight variance between them, but it should be in general the same, right? Because you think of the survivors as a team, is a 4v1, right? That's how at least most people think about it. I know some devs think about it as a 1v1 v1 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 v1, which is kind of stupid, considering that survivors literally help each other to escape. But I guess you could argue that they only help because they need another survivor to escape. It's hard to do all the gens by yourself, especially against a killer. So you could argue that it should stay separate, but I think it will incentivize more interesting gameplay to have it as a team-based game, especially during in-game scenarios where there's 3 people already at the gates and you only have 1 person on the hook, right? Will they come back and save? Probably not, right? If it's rank at least, and they know that they can lose their rank or it could go down if they let the person die on the hook, and they know it will go up if they save the person on the hook. So it'll give incentives for that too. Also give incentives for more proactive gameplay from the killer and not just sitting in front of a hook and face camping someone to death, or I guess now it has to be proxy camping, which not as strong as face camping because you're not right there in front of the survivor. Survivors do have a chance to get in there, but for the most part, it's relatively the same. So I'll say iron a few kinks out in just the core gameplay loop and how it dictates MMR game. Survivors should be grouped together, and it should be as their whole actions, like generators completed, time for chasing the killer, amount of resources used, like pallets. Windows would be fine because windows are infinite resources, but how much do they abuse? Like, just because if you're dropping all the pallets and having a 10-minute chase, there's a reason why, right? You're dropping all the pallets while also using windows and all that, which nothing's fine. Nothing's wrong, inherently wrong with dropping all the pallets, but it should factor in that you're using more resources that could go unused, right? If you're literally just running pallet to pallet and not even using windows in between, you'll just literally cut through all the resources. So take that into effect. And I wouldn't say take the killer strength into effect, honestly, just because balance changes always happen. So it's kind of hard to balance around killer specific, but I guess factually you would, the higher rank you go, the more stronger killers you would start seeing, which could make it repetitive, but that's how it is for any game, right? The higher up the rank you go, the more of the top characters you see. Overwatch, same thing happens. If it's a Malga meta, you play Malga. If it's a Kiriko meta, it's always Kiriko meta, so you're always seeing a Kiriko, right? So I think that's just obvious. That shouldn't be a complaint, because if that's the case, you can always go play casuals, where there will probably be infinitely less blights or narcissists and spirits and billies. So I think that's my idea. And then for killers, obviously, I don't think you should do it just around hooks, but like I guess you could. But I don't think it should only be hooks. Probably chase time, how fast are your chases, how well do you defend gens, how many people do you let out? Because I would say getting 12 hooks and 0 gens done is probably a better job than 12 hooks, but you have the gates opened and all the survivors just came back because they want to save 1 person. I wouldn't say that's the equivalent in skill, right? So I think just factor in a few things, but hooks probably should be the main portion, like the main chunk. Just like a survivors escaping, how many survivors on your team escape should be the main chunk. But there should also be how well did y'all loot the killer, and how well did y'all, or how fast did y'all get the gens done. And also give survivors another objective, so it's not just gen, and also extend the end game collapse so it actually feels like it's somewhat of a counter play. Because like when all of the gens pop and you actively don't have a survivor on the hook, you're kind of screwed. And if you do have you have 3 people dead and a survivor, it's only 1 survivor left, and you get hatch, or you close the hatch, what can you do? And even looking for hatches is so boring. Essentially, crank your volume up and listen for, give more interactive gameplay. I think someone that had a really interesting idea was True. He said pretty much have it to where it's a chase, and as long as you live for X amount of time, you get to escape, which I think is quite interesting of a concept. Honestly, I would say literally just make it a 1v1 pretty much. I don't think you should reset all the pallets and stuff, but definitely like make it to where either the killer can't use their power and it's literally just a perkless, or maybe you don't want to do perkless because there's some in-game perks that would help with that. But in general, just make it to where it's not just, oh, I'm Nurse, so I just kill you, right? Or, oh, I'm Blight, I just kill you because I'm really good at chases. Or I'm Nemesis and there's no more pallets and I'm going to kill you. Or Leatherface, there's no more pallets, I'm going to kill you. So I think do something with that. Maybe make it only M1s available. And yeah, that's the idea.